So we're in New York here. I've successfully zombied the arm, right? But I don't want to go through my basic path. For whatever reason, maybe I'm worried he's going to posture. Maybe I'm worried that he's going to just be strong and stable and I can't clear the neck. I can't have a good kung fu move. So I'm going to move on to a different path. We're going to go arm in front of the knee, and I'm reaching behind Stefan's head. I'm going to replace my arms. My left hand replaces my right hand. It goes in front of the shoulder, and I get deep in the armpit there. I want to get as deep as I can with my hand and really grab like the meat of his armpit and the meat of his pec. This brings us to the meat hook position. My arm's nice and deep, grabbing that shoulder, grabbing that pec and armpit like a meat hook. From here, right away, I'm looking for tricep control or preferably wrist control. But until we can get the wrist, I like to control the tricep here in my meat hook. Keys to success, being able to get nice and deep with his hand. If I'm shallow, he's able to posture. And as he postures, I lose everything. So I need to make sure that when I come from New York and I reach over, I take the time to crunch forward, get nice and deep with that arm, and get all the way underneath that shoulder into the meat of that pec, meat of that armpit. You can see how deep my hand is in there. I'm not up here at the top of the shoulder. I make sure I get nice and deep into that armpit, into that pec. And then I control the tricep here so he can't get away from me. So moving on from this meat hook, all I need now is wrist control. But I don't want a downward grip. I want an upward grip. I want my palm facing the sky when I grab that wrist. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to hang out here. And I'm waiting for Stefan to swim that wrist in and start grabbing my toes because he wants to free that foot off there. And as he starts grabbing my toes, I get my up grip. This up grip, it forces Stefan to rotate his hand upwards to free. He has to pull his hand up and out. If I'm down here, Steph's going to rotate away, which now it's hard for me to get my knee in there because his arm is pinched inside and he can rotate that wrist away and keep that leg trapped. If I have this up grip, which is what I want, he has to pull that arm completely away to free that wrist. And as he does, it gives me the room for my knee to come through. I lock my triangle and I pull my arm out into my reverse triangle position. Keys to success is patience. I need to make sure I get this up grip. So if I start with a down grip, it can be hard to get that knee out. A lot of people will just cup that knee. It's hard to get that knee out. So I'll switch to my up grip. Or if I haven't gotten it yet, I'll just be patient. I'll hang out here. I'll push the head. I'll wait for him to grab those toes. And as soon as he grabs those toes, I get my up grip. Now I can't rush this. I can't pull my knee out because he can still use his elbow to pinch against the top of my thigh. And if he pinches that elbow against the top of my thigh, I can't get my knee out. So I'm waiting for him to start to clear that wrist. And as he starts to free his arm, I can pull my knee out and my foot comes out as well. Then I triangle my legs. I don't let go until I triangle. Once it's locked in, I can pull my arm out. I'm pinching my knees together and we're in our reverse triangle position. From here, generally, our partner squares us up to start protecting his arm. He'll hide that arm behind the leg, and he wants to start defending the triangle. So we end up in a reverse triangle position here. So I'm in my reverse triangle, reaching up to grab my shin. Halfway up my shin, I'm using my arm to pinch that head in. Now as I switch, I'm reaching for this underhook. My legs switch and I swivel. My foot goes to the hip and I swivel. See how I keep that head pinched in? Now my hamstring is nice and tight against that neck. I can bring my knee up and I pinch my knees together and lock that triangle. From here, I just have to get this arm to the other side to finish. So I lift my hips, I bring that arm across, and I pinch my knees to finish. Keys to success actually comes from the start of this reverse triangle. Keeping everything tight at the start. When I reach up, it's super important I keep that connection of my arm to his head. Because again, if it's nice and loose, it gives him room to wiggle and escape. My triangle won't be as tight, and he might escape completely. So I'm reaching up, I'm staying super tight with that head, and I grab halfway up my shin. Now, as I swivel, let's say I can't get that arm. He's super tight there. As I swivel and I switch, my foot goes to the hip, and I turn myself. Notice how I kinked his neck as I turned myself. That keeps it super tight on that hamstring. Now I lock my triangle here, and I can lift my hips, taking that arm to the other side. And I don't even have to underhook. I can still finish right here. Ideally, I want to underhook to help get my angle, but it's not necessary. So we're in our reverse triangle, okay? We're unable to switch. We don't want to lose our triangle position. Sometimes as I switch, people are good at timing it and getting their head out. The other option I have available is to attack this arm, but let's say for whatever reason, he's hiding that arm tight, I can't get there. I'm gonna hit a fun move today. It's one of my favorite moves from this position. It's called a lat triangle. From here, I'm controlling the back of the head. You can also control your shin and pinch the head. Whatever works for you, okay? And I need to get this underhook under the leg. As I do that and I'm undoing my triangle, that's why I need control of the head, and I'm gonna slide my knee to the mat. I'm inverting here. So I do this all at once. I'm controlling, I look for my underhook, and I undo my legs and get my knee to the mat. Once I'm inverted, notice how I have his head kinked here. I'm reaching, grabbing my shin, I lock up my triangle on the side, and I squeeze on the lat. It's super vicious on the lat, super vicious on the shoulder, and it's a triangle because it kinks his neck. Keys to success, making sure I get that knee to the mat, making sure I keep this head kinked the whole time. So when I have this reverse triangle, as he presses forward, that's what helps me. That's what's gonna help me keep that head kinked and spin to get my knee to the mat, right there. I have to get that knee in that hole as close to the mat as possible. I'm keeping that head kinked, look at the top of my thigh. I'm actively pressing it in. Now I'm locking up this triangle and I squeeze my calf on his lat. Lat triangle.